Mother's Day, Mother's Day. My motha. Mother. Father is a phrase that my mom likes to use a lot these days. She is always into picking up little phrases here and there in the whole mother F, but turning that into mother father. Kind of clever. It's kind of how I see my mom. Kind of clever. You know, I'm gonna go ahead and ramble a bit about me mother. Cynthia Winchester. My mother. The self-proclaimed moon goddess. She likes to talk about God and Jesus. But, you know, she doesn't like to get overly Bible-thumping religious on it. She's more into personal belief systems than anything else, you know, as long as you're a good person and you spread love around. Give credit where credit's due, and her eyes, you're good. You know, she likes to believe in spiritual energy. She likes to believe in an afterlife of people hanging out in a ghostly lobby and talking to real people. She's always been into, like, you know, I talk to the dead sorts of television shows and things. Kind of centric on that, the whole, you know, spiritual journey thing. Like, you know, you die, but then you go off and you explore the cosmos as a spirit, or I'm not doing any justice to her actual belief system, but it's basically that. It's nothing crazy, but it allowed us to not have to go to church, which was always nice. I didn't have to have overly strict doctrine beaten into my brain. I mean, I've got enough things to worry about without having to worry about something I can't see sitting here judging every single thing I do. So that's always nice. She had like this Russian gypsy fortune-telling card game that she liked to play, where like you have like this grid with like 5 and 5 cards or something. Like it's like a big old sheet of cards, and then like if certain things match up, or you can rotate them to match them up, and then it's like, ooh, whichever way that drawing is pointed at, that's what it is. Like if you got, you know, death going down, then that means like down with death, man, or something. Again, I'm paraphrasing and not even hitting the mark whatsoever, but that's the basic of it right there. She liked to collect crystals and things. She's always really into gemstones. She'd be like, ooh, this rock and this rock, they do things. And, you know, if you build up enough of them, you can fight against Superman and all this other stuff. Rocks and crystal energy and stuff. And I mean, like, at its core, I believe in that sort of thing. Like, everything has an energy signature to it. And I mean, you know, it can affect the things around it, obviously. I mean, radiation's a thing. So if that's a thing, then clearly other things can have different kinds of radiation. It's not like we know everything about everything. So I like to keep my mind open. And I think that that's probably what my mother instilled into me the most, is keeping an open mind about all things in life. So, you know, I thank her for that also, because being open-minded has led me to doing a lot of different things artistically, you know, like learning different ways of doing things and different ways of achieving the end goal, keeping my mind open and not being too set in my ways. She would take like the crystals that she would like, you know, buy and collect and stuff. Like she had books that would describe different energies of the rocks that she would collect, but I think she was more into like certain sizes of crystals. Like she would have like certain ones that were her favorite and certain ones that weren't, you know, like you have your birthstone and this gives you power and that gives you power and whatever. And so like she'd get like a really big stone and she'd put it in like a pendulum, and then she'd like, you know, swing it back and forth, and that'd be another way to talk to dead people, is like, you know, like you just keep completely still and clear your mind, and then you have this little pendant, and like, you know, if it starts swinging one way or the other, then, you know, it's giving you the secrets to life. Another thing that she was always into growing up was sewing. She'd always like sew blankets and quilts and stuff. She would always do like arts and crafts. I remember growing up with like, you know, Christmas, we'd make like the little popsicle stick sleds, you know. She'd make like dozens upon dozens of those. She used to work as a waitress at a couple of different restaurants. You know, that was like her main source of income, getting tips and working as a waitress, coming home with the chicken tenders. My friends from high school would always be like, oh man, I want to hang out at your house, Rob, because your mom's gonna bring home chicken tenders probably. And it was like, yeah, I guess. They were good. We would sit there and we'd eat it, and she'd bring home steak for Spike, and obviously he got really fat over that. I mean, he's a dog and he's gonna love steak, and mom was always just like, oh, here's more steak scraps, and Spike would just be in hog heaven. He ended up getting really big. Not like supremely big, but big enough that, like, you know, he wasn't able to run anymore after a while, so, you know. But that was after years and years of getting steak basically every weekend, so. Yeah, a very artistic lady, my mother. Apparently she was really into drawing growing up. Like, she showed me this one drawing that she had made. It was like a barber or something, and they were like cutting children's hair, and they all had like scary expressions and stuff, and it was like really weird looking, and it just made me think, huh, so that's where I get it from. That's nice. Because, I mean, obviously, I draw a lot of disturbing stuff myself, or I have in my youth, and, you know, growing up, you know, it just got more creative and more ridiculous, and so, you know, it was fun to see mom having those kinds of roots after all this time. And it's actually fun now that she's retired from the waitress industry. She's actually really gotten into painting. She does a lot of, like, fantasy settings and things with, like, dragons and unicorns and people that we know doing things. She does a lot of these paintings for, like, family members and friends and stuff. She just does it for the fun of it. Really getting into her artistic side again now that she's retired. It's really nice. It's really nice to see see her progress as an artist. And apparently she worked as a hairdresser before we were born. We never had to go to a hairdresser. Like, we never had to pay a hairdresser for any of our haircuts. We just, you know, go to mom. Hey, mom, hair's getting a little long again. Set us up in the kitchen, snip, snip, snip. Every single one of our hairstyles growing up was her work. And of course, having, you know, 4 or 5 children, you had to be ready. You had to be ready to save money where you could. I had to wear rubber diapers as a child, so clearly you gotta save money somewhere. And I'd much rather have, you know, free haircuts than have to poop in a rubber bag. So, I mean, that always helps. That's always a story she loves telling. Oh, you used to have a rubber diaper. Yeah, I had a fluffy butt. Fluffy butt. It's just like, Mom. And now I'm embarrassing myself because, you know, why not? That's what mother loves. So there you go, Mom. A little gift for you out in the interwebs. I always loved my mom growing up. She was a good lady. Family's super important to her, and she never stops talking about it, like, ever. Always going on about grandchildren and, oh, the grandchildren here and the grandchildren there, and they're doing this and they're doing that. And she just loves them so much and wants to see them. And anytime anybody puts any kind of a damper on her ability to see those kids, and they're gonna receive holy hell for it, you know, verbally. A loving kind of holy hell, but still, she does her best not to let that negativity spread. It's a constant battle, but I think that she fights it very, very well. And I thank you for that, Mom, because that's also been a part of my personal growth as a person, trying to get past my own rage. Because growing up, I was introduced to a lot of not so great vibes, but as both of my parents, my mother and my father, got older and grew up, they had to learn to deal with their own rage issues, and I in turn had to deal with mine. And, you know, seeing them do it helped me get over mine. And so thank you for that, Mom. And thank you for the creativity. And thank you for always instilling in me a willingness to try new things and to not give up and being open to other people and their ideas. Energy is very important. You have to maintain your own personal energy. If you don't, then you're just on a one-way ticket straight into the gutter, and you don't need that. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for hanging out, listening to me ramble about me good old mother on Mother's Day, for Mother's Day, around Mother's Day, whatever, whenever, it's all good. I've covered both of the parental holidays. It's been fun. Bye-bye!